Okay. I think we're live. It's been a while, so I'm hoping that we're live. So I'm a little out of practice. If you're joining me, I hope that you will say hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle Adamas, and I'm the owner and creative force behind Vintage Revival Design Co. And my entire mission is to share tips and techniques and projects to help you create confidently. And so please say hello if you're joining me. I'm so glad to be here with you today. We are going to start working on some old windows. I was fortunate enough to have a neighbor that reached out to me when they were having their windows replaced and asked me if I wanted some. And so that was a couple of years ago. So I've had this stack for a while and I've been wanting to do something with it. So Debbie, hello. Thank you so much for joining and saying hello. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see your name here. So I thought we were starting. We've got several windows. We're not going to finish this one tonight. We'll finish it up tomorrow. By the end of the week, we'll be done. There are a few steps to this. So I have several windows, and when I run out of ideas, then we'll move on to something else. But we're going to do windows a little bit. So hi, Shannon. How are you? So let me pull up my project so you can see what I'm working with. This is just a window, an old window, part of it. So I think they were double hung. And so this is one part of that, just an old wooden window. A lot of the dust and stuff you see is on my mat. So the first one that we're going to be doing is a faux stained glass. And I was thinking of, we can do that with decoupage. We're going to explore a few different ways to use a faux stained glass. There are so many mediums you can use. We're going to do one technique with this window, and then we'll try another one on another window. You can use there's so many ways to do it. So I'm going to be using this Pennsylvania Folk stamp by IOD, and I chose an element, this flower. I thought that would look really great. But then I had to think of a pattern that I was going to use. So this is where it got a little tricky, and I have a pattern ready to go, and I'm going to show you how I use it. But I got some inspiration for stained glass designs on Pinterest. And so that's a really good place to look. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the pattern. So this is a pattern that I made. I'm hoping you can see that. And this took me a little while, but what I did was I took a piece of cardstock and I measured each of the panes, and they came out to be about 7.5 by 9.5. So I cut a rectangle out of my cardstock at that size. I then and if you're on my email list, I'm going to share the finished project and send you the template for this with the correct measurements, at least how I did it. You might not have a window that has the same size pane, but I think it'll give you an idea and maybe give you some inspiration. Lourdes, I'm so excited you're here too. Thank you so much. So let me show you what I did. This is actually a scoring board, and I hope I have my little score stick. So I kind of had an idea. My idea is to have my design in the center, and we're going to use colorant, and we're going to use other mediums to give this like a leaded glass effect. And so each of the panes is going to have the same design, each of the 4 panes. And so I went ahead and one of the things that I did was that I knew I wanted a border inside. And so I just scored that at 3/4 of an inch on all sides. And again, when I share the template, I'm going to give you the measurements, because I tell you what, this part almost did me in. I was like, it sounded like such a good idea until I got to doing the math on it. And then I was like, wanting to call my oldest son, who's like a math wizard, and have him come help me out. So I did it there. And then I also went ahead and did it at 1.5 and 1.5 on all sides. And this is so that I just started to get my design. And once I had those score lines in, I took a pencil. I recommend a pencil in case you get stuck, because then you can erase it. And so I used a pencil to fill in my grid lines. And hopefully this is going to make sense now as we get going. But again, I'll share the measurements on how I did this. I started to make little marks here, but I wanted to use this as a template. And so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set that aside and let's get the window back out again. Okay. So I don't really know what color I want to paint the frame. So it's ideal if you do your painting first and then go on to the step, but I don't know what I don't know. So I'm not sure. So you can see, I'm going to pull this up. You can see how this template fits in. I'm actually going to make sure that I'm up at the top. So I am, and this is the side that I want to use. And so I'm going to take this template and I'm going to tape it with some tape to the back side with some painter's tape. So I'm going to line that up in there and then just take some painter's tape and oh no, I know what I wanted to do first. Sorry, hold on. I wanted to, see, I told you I'm out of practice. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is stamp this medallion. This is going to be a really colorful element in here. And I'm going to just use my lines. I've got a center because I've marked the center here, right here. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up and I'm going to stamp this. I didn't have a thin mount handy, if you can believe that. And then I'm just going to stand up a little bit so I can kind of wiggle this. I kind of wanted it. I'm going to just do the very best I can and come in the center here, hold that down, and then I'm going to just push this in. What these little squares do is give me just a pattern to follow to fill in with the different mediums. I'm really excited to get to that part, but first we're going to do this. So this is going to be, I'll come live again tomorrow. I'll announce that and we'll do the next step and hopefully we'll be able to finish it up. But if not, then we'll do it on, I think I could probably do Thursday. So now that I've got this, I'm going to we'll just do it. It doesn't matter because I'm going to use the same pattern on every single pane. I only wanted to do this one time because, like I said, the measuring was just crazy, you guys. What have you been working on? I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Let me know what crafting you're doing. Have you upcycled old windows? Have you done a faux stained glass technique? And did you like how it turned out? Is it something you would do again? Let me know, all the things. So I'm going to just tape this on all four sides. I may have to do a long piece. I really wasn't thinking too much of that. My mat is dirty, so it makes me feel. I did sand down the window. I used Dawn Power Wash to clean it, and then I used isopropyl alcohol to clean the glass as well. And so I just wanted to make sure that I got it clean. And again, I'm going to have to be super careful when I get to the painting part. But I've got a little bit of a border that you'll see that I'll probably do last, and that will help me. All right, so we have this taped inside, and now our pattern is in place on our pane. And I'm going to position this so that you can see it. So each pane is going to have this design in it. Some of it's going to be like a frosted clear glass. Some of it will be colored glass. This is definitely going to be colored, but now that my pattern's in place, I want to add leading. And I'm using a product called Gallery Glass. It's by Plaid, and it's a simulated leading. I've also know that you can use acrylic paint and clear school glue. And that's a technique that we're going to try too, and we'll see if we like it. We'll do that on a different window. I just want to make sure that we get that. So I hope my internet isn't being wonky. Let me know. And you've got a few, yeah, just decide. So Shannon, we're going to be working with windows with transfers and with decoupage and all of that. So I really just kind of want to get through that stash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how this comes out, but this is going to be my border, and I'm just going to squeeze. I'm going to probably have to stand up for this. I'm going to squeeze and just go in a straight line as I can. If you look on stained glass windows, the leading is never super perfect, right? So I'm not too worried about that. Okay, and I'm going to go here. And again, I'm going straight. Oh my gosh, my head's in the way. I'm so sorry. And I just made a boo-boo. So I'm going to pick that up with my finger and try to get my head out of the way. I'm so sorry, you guys. You just want to take your time and be patient. Let me see if I can get something to pick that up a little bit. I'm going to just pick it up right here. So I've got a little isopropyl alcohol on a microfiber cloth, and I can pick this up. So it is sticky, right? And then let's see if we do it this way. Let's see if I can do it from here without, I really do need to stand up to see. All right, let me squeeze some off over here and get it started, and that'll make it a little bit easier. Now, I did have some in a needle nose bottle too. I managed to get some of this in a needle nose bottle, which was shocking because it's so thick. And so I'll probably fill in some of these areas. So I'm now going to come here. So what I'm going to do is outline the entire design. Let's try the needle nose bottle and see if that works a little bit better for me. I have a little working time to, I've got it a little stuck. Hold on 1 second. So I've got a little working time with this. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. But you won't be able to see what I'm doing if my big head is in the way. So I'm gonna just unclog this a little bit. Let's see if my needle nose bottle will work a little bit better. Come on, come on, come on. All right, something's stuck in here. So give me just a second. This is gonna work. We just have to figure it out. I haven't used this in a while. I think I've just got a little bit that's maybe dried out. Let's see if I can go. This stuff is a little messy. All right, I did get that to go through. Let's see if this works now. Wipe that off. All right, so I'm just going to squeeze. You have to put a little bit of pressure. So I know that I'm going kind of backwards for you guys, but it's just not wanting to come out. So it did before, but it's not. It might have been in there too long. So let's see if we can. It's a little bit wonky, but again, it's not. Okay, so this is what we do. We just do this and then we'll clean up. I've got some precision tip Q-tips. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one, and then I'll show you how to clean up. It seems to help if I don't hover the bottle over the glass, but that's going a lot more smoothly. So what I'm doing is the tip is actually on the glass. And so that's making a difference for me. Okay. And then I'll let that sit up a little bit and then we'll be able to do that. So let's go and do this line. I'm going to pick up kind of like where it would solder. All right, you guys, do you think I'm crazy? Because I've got to do this 4 times. So is this a good idea or are we like not sure? I don't know. I don't know, but I am not going to rest until I've tried it, right? So you know how you get that idea in your head and you're like, okay, I've got to try this. And I just wanted to do some different things. But I've chosen a stencil that we're going to use on windows. And like I said, decoupage and other ways to do faux stained glass. And I just think it's a really pretty look. We'll be using glass speed gel. And of course, you know, I have to use my diamond glaze. And you totally want to try this. Okay, Shannon, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So let's see. We'll get this going and then we'll do the, we'll clean it up a little bit. You could do pinstriping. I could have just, you know, drawn this on with a Sharpie marker, but then you don't get that lead, right? You don't get that lead look. And so, all right, I went a little too, let me clean off my lid there because it's getting on there a little thick. Okay, I'm going to do this part and then I'll show you how to clean it up a little bit. So these are those pencil lines are what I want to use. I also think I wanted to give a little interest in the square here. And so this is going to have a medium. All of these are going to have a medium in them. But by filling in the pencil lines only where I wanted them, that's what gives you your pattern. And so I think it's really helpful, right? Because if I had to eyeball this, it was hard enough with the scoring tool. And so if I had to eyeball this, I think I would have lost my mind. Okay. Getting a little thick again, but I'll show you with the precision tip Q-tip. Now I want to make sure that I get my flower done before I, okay, see how it gets just a little bit messy. Let me get my lid for that. And then let's get my precision tip Q-tips and some alcohol. You can also use hand sanitizer to clean up. So these are the precision tip Q-tips. And so they've got that fine point on it. And so that's super helpful. And see, I probably should have worn gloves. So thank you, Debbie. Hi, Lori. How are you? And so, all right. So I put a little isopropyl alcohol on this. And now what I'm going to do is just come in and pick up. So this is going to be a little tedious, you guys. But we're going to figure it out. So you can see, as long as it's still wet, you can come in with this Q-tip and clean it up a little bit. Like, see, here's a really good one. Let's get a little more alcohol on here. Who knew that isopropyl alcohol would be such a great tool in the craft room, but it is. That and hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer also will remove stays on ink from glass or from your stamps. So that's a good thing to know. If you do that, then, oh, thank you so much, Shannon. I appreciate it for doing that. Okay, so let's try. I got a little bit on the window. All right, so keep your rag close by. And so you can just use that tip and clean up, right? Oh, I don't want to get that on my jacket. All right, so see, here's the messy one. It sets up fairly quickly, so you might have to push down a little hard, but we can clean it up a little bit where it's super messy. But I think this is a fun thing to do with the window. I was thinking about maybe for my window in my studio that's always behind me, I thought I could, I had that big piece of artwork that I did that I usually stick in the window, but it's kind of heavy. And so I thought about maybe doing some little acrylic stained glass or something like that. So I'm just coming in. So do you get the idea on how you can clean that? Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. I really, really, really want to get this thing working. So I'm going to squeeze out a chunk and see if that isn't part of the problem, if it's just not liquidy enough, and see if I can get this working. All right. I really want to get this flower done. Let's see if I can get it to come out now. Let's see. I don't know why it was working before, and now it is not, because this is going to be super thick. All right. We're just going to have to try to do it with this. I could try, let's try a tiny paintbrush. I've got a really thin paintbrush, and that bit that I squeezed out, I don't know if this will work or not. I'm thinking this is going to be maybe not. So, oops. Okay. So I've got to stand up on this. And what I want to do is, the pressure, I could tap it on, but then it's going to be, if I tap it on, that's not really going to work either. All right. So boo for the needle nose bottle. I'll have to figure that out. I really should have checked that out before I did this. So let's see. This just isn't a super fine tip. I'm sure they have some in a fine bottle. Now, I'm not going to be doing all of these little detail lines because that would be really, really hard. So I don't have a precision tip for the squeeze bottle, but that's a good thing for me to look into, Shannon. All right, I'm going to do a circle here. And get my Q-tip. I just know this is going to turn out okay, right? I just know it will. So I'm going to do like this. I'm not doing all of the detail on this. Because stained glass is usually the chunkier pieces anyway, right? I know my head's in the way, guys. So sorry. Okay, so I've got that going. And now we're going to do this part. And then I'm going to do this part, this part. I'm going to have to look for a precision tip. I know there are other products, but this is what I had. And I wonder if I'll have more luck with the glue. So this is how we do this, and I'll go ahead, and then what I'm going to do is let this dry overnight. I'm going to do all 4 of these and let this dry overnight. And then I'll come back tomorrow and we should be able to start coloring in our design. I hope I'm getting this straight because I'm kind of at an awkward angle. Is it looking wonky or just is it looking straight? I think it's looking okay, right? Let's go fill in there, and then I'll clean up with my Q-tip. But let's get some of these. So this one, these are outlined again. Okay, and I'll clean up. I really thought this was going to be the easiest of the ones that I have in mind. I was wrong. That's okay. If you don't try, you don't know, right? Okay, and then I want to get, oh, I've got this one here. All right, and now I have these little leaves in between. And again, this is just a pattern. I need to wipe this off. This is just a pattern, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Okay, so we're getting the leaves here. I can kind of wing it. I ought to go to the cake decorating store and get something like that. I bet that would work really well. So we've got our design on the first one, and I've just got a little bit of cleaning up to do. So I also need something that I'm going to use. Can I use this stylus, I wonder, to pick some of this up? So I'm using a stylus, right? A tip of a stylus, and that is working really well. So that makes it super easy. Okay, so it's a little fussy to do. The coloring will be the best part, but I really wanted these, I really wanted the leading. And so I'm excited to try the glue method too, to see if that doesn't have a little better consistency. I just want to get up some of this really, some of the really thick areas. Okay, and then this is, yeah, so I'll use my precision Q-tip. But anyway, so this is where we are. So we created a pattern and we stamped it with an element from the Pennsylvania Folk Stamp Set by IOD and taped our pattern to the back of the window, and we're adding the glass. I want to know if I can take this off. Let me see if I can just clean up a little bit more. Let's get these cleaned up because it does set up kind of quickly, but I think we'll have some options. I think when it's dry that I can actually go in with a, like an X-Acto knife and scrape some of that off, which would be great. I've just got some little messy bits here. So I'm gonna just kind of clean that up. I'll do all 4 panels, and then let's see, I can well, I'll show you tomorrow, I guess, what that is. So this is how we're getting started, guys. And let's see how it turns out. I think the idea is good. I'm not sure. Let's see how the execution goes. Okay. So I'm going to look at my calendar and I'll post an event for tomorrow. If you can join me, that would be great. All the panes will be done and they'll be cleaned up. If you have any questions, if you're watching this on replay, let me know. And I'm just so glad to be back here with all of you. We have so much going on, and I was not going to go live until I could do a consistent day every week. But looking at our schedule, there really are several weeks where it wouldn't be the same day. And then I just thought, whatever. So I'm going to be here, but I'll probably be posting a schedule of lives on Sundays and let you know what days of the week in case you're available to join me. I would love it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll post the event later this evening, and thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. All right, everybody, take care.